Chief Engineer Patson here. So today what we are going to see is testing of ODME. So we have the ODME here. So its maker is WEF and the model is Oilcon Mark 6N. So today we will be demonstrating monthly test of ODME. So what we are going to do is we will do the 4 tests. One is the alarm for high discharge rate. It is a high. The second is alarm for total oil discharge. And third is back flash. This is a cycle back flash, forward flash, and window flash. And fourth thing, we will see how the overboard valve will change over from slop tank to overboard and back to overboard to slop tank. So with me, we have a chief officer from, who will take over from here, and he will show you how to put the input data and other things. So let's focus on the ODME main control unit, which is fitted in the CCR.
So hello guys, as my chief engineer said, today we are going to see the monthly test of ODME. So now if you see the screen, it is having all the values, the sampling point, which sampling point is connected now, oil type 1, 2, 3. So 1 is like crude oil and 2, 3 you have separate type of numbers for each type of oil in the manual. And here you have date and time, here you have all the required parameters. So now if you see, for most of the parameters you see this A, which means automatic. So now the system is currently set up for actual decanting. So what we are going to do now is we are going to manually trigger all the values and then see if the system is working fine and the alarms are getting triggered or not. So for that, initially what we are going to do is we are going to go on the setup. You press this one and then all your settings will come, what all settings you have input. So you press change again, then you will get to sample point. So sampling point, usually in all vessels there is only one, so you don't need to change that. You go next. Discharge mode is dirty ballast, which is your tank cleaning water which you are keeping in slop port or ROT, whichever tank. And then next one is total oil limit. Total oil limit, you see it's 40 liters. So that is overall total of oil, how much you are going to discharge. And then next is reset total oil. Now if you see it's no, so you change that to yes. What is the meaning of reset total oil is, so previously if you have discharged any amount of oil with this decanting, with this ODME, so it will keep that oil. So if you press S, it will reset, and for this operation it will start counting from scratch like 0.0. And then discharge alarm 30 liter per nautical mile. This is as per your MARPOL Annex 1 regulation 30 for cargo spaces. And then here if you come, speed indication is automatic. So since we are going to manually trigger all the values, you increase the speed. So why we are increasing the speed is, the more speed you have, you can discharge 30 liter per nautical mile. If you have less speed, you will exceed that one. That is why you are putting maximum 15 knots. Flow rate automatic now, so that you put to 1000 cubics. You manually input. And then oil type, as I said on the top, type 1 is crude oil. And then the next one is concentratic alarm 999 ppm. No need to change that one. Then you see this oil concentrate indication. This is automatic. So from where it's taking is, the ODMA system is manually calculating from the sample which is getting onto the system when we are actually doing ODME. So you put here 400 ppm. So this system is designed to work from 0 to 1000 ppm. So 400, 500 is in between the range. So the maker has recommended us to put 400 ppm. So after that, you don't need to change anything. Here you double check if your date and time is correct, and then you press OK. So after that, press the flush button here, but flushing will not happen. It will go to the next screen. So you press fresh. Then if you see here, your command for your overboard and slop port will change now. You see this command is C and position is C. Now you will notice that it is giving O when I press sample, and position will also change, and we will shift the video screen to the valve which is there in the mimic. So now if you see, as per this one, this is our overboard valve, hydraulic overboard valve, hydraulically operated. And this is your recirculation valve to slop port. So now what we saw is it interchanged. The overboard is open and slop port is closed. So now with this value, you are good to discharge overboard. So then now if you come back to our ODME screen, then you press stop. So after stopping, you see this command is giving close and position is open. So now it will overboard will close again and slop will open. Yes, here you guys see now when we press stop there, the overboard valve is fully shut and the slop port recirculation valve is open. So now what is happening is all your dirty water which you are discharging overboard is coming back to slop. So now the next thing what we will do is we will test this discharge rate high. So what is happening is, so next you go to, you press change and then again you will get your parameters. You press change again, then you go to flow rate indication. We remember we put 1000 cubics per hour, you increase that to 2000. So what we are doing now is we are triggering, so we are increasing our discharge rate to see if our ODME is functioning properly. What is happening when you are increasing the discharge rate? So you remember we put 15 knots as ship speed. So at 15 knots, 1000 cubics before we were able to discharge, because our MARPOL says you can discharge 30 liters per nautical mile. And if you increase discharge rate, what will happen? You will exceed that 30 liters per nautical mile. That's why we are triggering manually with 2000 meter cube per hour. And then you go next, don't change anything else, and then press OK. Then you come back. Now if you see on the screen, we have put concentration 400 and flow rate of 2000. Now you press sample. So now you see the alarm already triggered, discharge rate too high. So in this case what you have to do, you have to acknowledge, since you are already on recirculation, the oil will go into the slop port. So now next what you have to do is, in actual scenario, you have to reduce the discharge rate, which we will trigger now. So once this comes, you stop the button and then it will go to idle mode again. So now you can go to change again, your parameters will come, press change again, then you put back the flow rate indication to 1000. You put back to 1000 and then you press OK. Don't change any other value, press back. Now you press sample key mode. Here you see in the corner, you press sample. So now what will happen is we are good to discharge. Now our overboard will open. If you see here, command is closed and position is closed. Now command will open, and you see here, now command is already open. So now it will start changing over to overboard and slop will close. Yes, now with this 1000 cubics and 400 ppm, you are good to go. So your overboard is already open. So from your ODME, you are discharging directly through overboard. So if you come to the screen now, what we can see is, you see this total oil discharge. Total oil discharge 5.96, 6.1, it's increasing. So what is happening is, you remember we put 40 liter as total oil discharge limit. So what will happen now is, it will keep increasing until 40. When it reaches 40, your command will go close and then position will close also. So it will interchange again. So from overboard, it will change back to slop port. So that is what we are going to see now. Let us wait for that total oil to reach 40 liter.
It has reached to 30 now. Okay, 35. So at 40 it will give an alarm.
So when the total oil reaches at 40 liters, you guys can notice this command and position. So since it is going overboard now, open, it will, uh, once the alarm is triggered, it will close and then your slop port will open and then your overboard is going to close now. So you see, you have reached your total discharge limit. So once you acknowledge this alarm, you guys can see your command is closing and your position is open. So it will go to recirculation mode now. And as you guys see on the screen, the slop port valve is open now and overboard is shut. So we have seen three things until now. We have seen your interchange of slop port and overboard valve, and then we have seen also two alarms, which is discharge rate too high and your total oil limit. So after that, what you are going to do is you have verified your alarms that it is working properly and your interchange is happening. So in this one, only one thing you guys have to keep in mind when you are seeing this interchange in the hydraulic mimic diagram in CCR, I would recommend you also keep your pumpman or anybody else on the deck to visually verify if the actuator is actually moving or not. So after this, I'm going to stop this one and then it is going to come back to idle mode. So once this idle mode is there, then you press stop again. So after stopping again, you put back all the values to automatic, same what it was before. So you go to setup, you go to change, and then whatever we changed, you put back to normal. So we put total reset oil, yes, discharge alarm 30, it is as usual. Speed you put back to automatic. So you reduce to 0, your automatic will come. And then flow rate, you keep automatic also. Press A, it will come to automatic. Oil type you keep the same. And then we changed this oil concentric indication. We put 400 ppm as per maker just for the test. In original, the system will calculate for you from the sample it is taking. So you put automatic, press OK. Then you see the flush button here. Now we are going to see the last step in the monthly test. When you press flush, it is going to take 5 to 7 minutes. It will carry out forward flush, backward flush, and window wash. So this is the last step in testing this WAF Oilcon Mark 6M ODME system. So that is it. Let's wait for this flushing to be completed. Then we can log down in your logbook saying that you tested and you put back your system in auto mode ready for decanting at all times.
You can see here the back flashing cycle already started. This bar graph you can see now it is back flashing here. So it takes 7 minutes, approximately 7 minutes. can see the back flushing graph is increasing. Now we can see the window wash. The window wash cycle has triggered here. So before it was a back flushing, now the window wash. And now you have a forward flush here. Okay, we are half the way. Oh, so we have a alarm here. Skid.
So this EPU no skid flow means that your line is little bit dirty. So you can acknowledge and then you can go for this flushing again. You see here skid flow is 48 liters per hour. So the freshwater valve which you open for your ODME, so it will take fresh water from there to flush the system. So this alarm means that there is some amount of dirt in your line. So when the flushing sequence completes, so there should be no alarm on your system. So now let us try flushing again.
Setting up the line for ODME.
So now, by in the meantime, let it get flushed, and we can see the line setup, how to line up for your ODME decanting. Let's come to the mimic diagram. So now, if you see here, this is our cargo tank part, and this is our pump room part. So now, let's say we are keeping our dirty ballast, which is the oil wash water in our slop port tank. So from slop port tank, what we are going to do is we are going to take suction from here, and through our stripping pump, we are going to discharge it overboard. So what we are going to do is, you see this line here, this is the suction line. So you open this one, and then you go here, you open this 080, let's go, 080, and this is your stripping pump. And here you see, this is the valve which is going to the overboard line. So usually this is kept on top itself. Here in our vessel, it's in top of the pump room. It might be same on most of the Aframax tankers. So when you open this one, this line goes through overboard through the deck. So from the pump room, it comes on top. Here you have your recirculation valve and overboard valve. Overboard valve is usually kept padlocked, and then the blind is turned. Here you see the blind, so the blind is turned, it's blanked. So before doing this overboard through ODME, you turn the blind and padlock open this valve. Since it is two valves, so one is manual valve we have here, and one is hydraulic valve. So when the system runs at 1000 cubics, what we saw here, and 400 ppm as we tested, this will open your manual valve. You are already opening, which is this one, and then it goes overboard. So in the testing method, we put all manual values. So actually, the rate which you are going to control through your stripping pump, and your ship speed, it is going to take from GPS. So the ideal value to get this exact discharge rate, to have no trouble in doing your decanting, is you control your stripping pump from here from CCR, and then the stroke counter is here. So what you want to have is, you keep around 7 to 8 strokes only. You keep around 7 to 8 strokes only to have a proper discharge rate, so that your effluent in the cargo tank doesn't get disturbed.
So
Okay.
our chief officer has briefed you and demonstrated you how the ODME is tested in monthly, and he has also shown you the input values which we have to input into the main control unit of the ODME, which is fitted in the CCR. Also, he has shown you the how the overboard valve is getting changeover from slope tank to overboard and back to recirculation when there is any alarm. Also, he has shown you the third cycle, that is called back flashing, the window flash, forward flash, and then we had an alarm skid no flow, how to reset this alarm, and some of the troubleshooting also he has shown you, and how to line up the deck line. We have a manual valve which is padlock, and there is a blank flange which has to be put into normal position during the operation. I hope everybody has liked this video, and this is what how we do in the monthly test. The maker, you can see here, WAF and oil can mark 6N. Guys, thank you very much.